Up in the next 60 minutes comprehensively, these are our top stories. Tidal waves bite harder as Volta Regional Minister declares state of emergency. Also in this bulletin, government urged to recapitalize Bank of Ghana to strengthen macroeconomic environment. Also, government urged to reform current value-added tax regime for more compliance. Later, general price inflation falls for second consecutive month to 23.1% in February 2025. And road minister takes on contractor over slow pace of work on Ofankor and Sawam project. We have details of these and many others, including some stories on Ghana Month and what's up on the global front, all in the 60 Minutes Bulletin. You want to stay tuned in. Hello again, I am Mohammed. Players in the private sector are advocating for reforms and state-owned enterprises. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Kesi Alatoforson, raised concerns about the dire financial and operational challenges facing Ghana's state-owned enterprises and joint venture companies during the launch of the National Economic Dialogue. He emphasized the need for urgent reforms to prevent further economic decline. There's more in the following report. Apologies to bring you that story later on in the bulletin. Now, the Minister of Roads and Highways, Gavins Kwame Agboja, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to completing the Swami Interchange project despite financial challenges. Speaking to the media after a site tour in Kumasi, the minister acknowledged the project's significance and the hurdles faced in securing funds for its completion. According to the minister, while funding was initially secured from external sources, it was insufficient to complete all phases of the project. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Isaac Justice Bidiako reports.
Hi, this is GHOne. You missed me? I've got great news for you. Join me here on GHOne TV as we celebrate our country, Ghana. On the 6th of March 2025, this Thursday, right after the news 7 p.m, join me, my guests, as we get to share some amazing Ghanaian stories on GHOne TV from 1957 to 2025. Don't miss out. The Independence Day special on GHOne TV. See you then. GHOne, your best experience.
Ghana, it's time to witness arm wrestling greatness in Accra. Watch out as best arm wrestlers from Ghana, Nigeria, Benin and Togo converge on one stage for one champion in the Independence Arm Wrestling Challenge. Date 15th March 2025. Time 5 p.m. Venue is the Center Point Mall Atomic Runabout. Who
Welcome back. This is Newsroom here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. We do apologize for that abrupt break. Players in the private sector are advocating for reforms in state-owned enterprises. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Recapitalising, raised concerns about the dire financial and operational challenges facing Ghana's state-owned enterprises and joint venture companies during the launch of the National Economic Dialogue. He emphasized the need for urgent reforms to prevent further economic decline. That's more on the following report.
According to the Finance Minister, Dr. Recapitalising, Cocoa Board was unable to supply 333,767 tons of cocoa beans during the 2023-2024 crop season. This shortage is expected to result in a loss of $4,000 per ton for Ghanaian farmers and the government during the 2025 crop season. Additionally, the minister expressed concerns about the financial shortfalls at the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, which has accumulated approximately $2.2 billion in debt. Against this backdrop, the private sector-led growth committee recommends matching remuneration with productivity at the state-owned enterprises.
On tax reform, we also urge that the VAT system be reformed. And this reform should aim to address the existing wide VAT gap. The present VAT gap is more than 50%. In other words, the actual VAT collection reflects less than half of what we should be collecting. So the reform of the VAT regime should aim at reducing the VAT gap.
The private sector-led growth committee also proposes that the government develop a policy allowing state-owned enterprises to raise capital through the stock exchange market and comply with the Securities and Exchange Commission's corporate governance requirements.
On strengthening the banking system and financial intermediation, we call for the recapitalization of the Bank of Ghana to empower and strengthen the central bank to conduct its monetary policy and financial stability functions. We also call on the central bank to conduct a feasibility study and to develop a regulatory framework for non-interest banking.
Restoring macroeconomic stability remains a pressing issue for discussion at the National Economic Dialogue. The team overseeing this topic recommends that the government review the value-added tax to enhance compliance.
We have a Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. We recommend that it be converted into a National Remuneration and Productivity Commission to focus and bring to attention what needs to be done.
The committee also proposes strengthening the banking sector and financial intermediation.
What do we propose? That GOG makes a policy that SOEs raise capital using the stock exchange and they comply with the Securities and Exchange Commission's corporate governance requirements. Because these are requirements that talk about who should be on the board, the minimum qualification, who appoints the CEO. And these are good practices that have enabled private companies to be 200 years old. And these are good enough for all SOEs.
Following the presentations of the 6 committees at the 2-day National Economic Dialogue, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, sector ministers including finance, trade and agribusiness, energy, food and agriculture have pledged their commitment to implementing the recommendations to reset the country and achieve economic prosperity.
But let's find out what your thoughts are on the National Economic Dialogue. Let's find out those thoughts on our social media pages. Nanama Akwa joins me with those comments. Nanama, what are people saying with regards to the National Economic Dialogue?
Well, Lily, we chanced upon a tweet by Recapitalising, and here is what you had to say with regard to his saying that people should buy in to what they said on the National Economic Dialogue, as well as mentioning that on the 11th of March, they're going to be giving us their budget. Now, when we go to X, we have Control, who says, please, the duty fee is too much and the e-levy should be scrapped. We have Tessia, who says, for the betterment of our country, I still ask the NDC party to find a better explanation why the e-levy is very important to building Ghana. The Ghana we all want. Scrap the nuisance tax and maintain the e-levy. Sarkodia adds, KCO Atwoforson, we the people of Ghana are ready to support this government, but we would like to know what you are going to do about the CEOs and MDs taking huge sums of money as salary and flimsy allowances on top of that, please. Georgia says, first, bring out the budget and we will decide how to buy in. Are you using this forum to abandon your promises? We'll see. Denny says, start educating we the citizens by letting us know the policies you have in the budget. We have William here. Ghanaians will support any people-oriented policy in implementing the economic challenges successfully. If truly the economy is in a mess, the Hajj Village project will lose sympathy from the people. Priority of the Mohammed government now should be employment and lower costs of food. Godfrey says the 24-hour economy is the game changer, but nothing has been said about that. Perhaps we will hear more of it in the budget. Prince says implementation is really the key challenge to deliver and implement so that the intended results can be achieved. Ghanaians wish you all the best. Lawrence says we must ensure our engagement throughout the public dialogue is transparent, interactive and responsive to stakeholders. This approach will foster meaningful involvement and a sense of ownership, helping us achieve the dialogue's objectives while holding both government and the private sector accountable. Accountability is also the key. We have Michael here. Man just sat in meeting and dollar dropped to 8 cedis. We have Joe Jackson here as well, who said, we pray for you to have the strength to stay the course. Mbak says, I hope the executive cuts 60% of their salaries because we are in this together. And that's what you had to say on that tweet. Send us your messages on Instagram, on Facebook, and on X, formerly Twitter, at GHOne Television. My name is Nanama Akwalili. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Anama, for those thoughts and comments on our various social media pages. Moving on, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Gavin Kwame Agbodza, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to completing the Swami Interchange project despite financial challenges. Speaking to the media after a site tour in Kumasi, the Minister acknowledged the project's significance and the hurdles faced in securing funds for its completion. According to the Minister, while funding was initially secured from external sources, it was insufficient to complete all phases of the project. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Isaac Justice Bidiako reports.
Minister of Roads and Highways Kwame Gavin Agbodza, at a working visit in Kumasi, explained that government managed to reallocate some funds for the Swami Interchange project, but emphasized that the full financial requirement was yet to be met. The Roads Minister expressed confidence in the contractors handling the project, stating that they have the capacity to deliver. He noted that the government is engaging stakeholders, including the Ghana Water Limited and other service providers, to ensure that essential utilities are relocated without disrupting services to residents. Acknowledging the country's current financial difficulties, the minister reiterated President John Mohammed's commitment to transparency in government spending and infrastructure development. He also mentioned that decisions are ongoing to secure additional funding for other road projects linked to the Swami Interchange.
What we know is that the money that has been reallocated cannot actually complete all the phases. We thank the contractor. I think the phase 2 is largely done, as the engineer has said. We are now left with phase 1, which is the critical part. And then we want to thank the regional minister once again for agreeing to work with Ghana Water. Now that we don't have the full complement of the money for the bridge, President Mohammed's goal, as he's always said, is to make sure wherever we can find resources to complete critical projects like this. So now that I've seen this, I'll brief him and then we'll discuss the way forward in terms of how we can complete it.
Touching on compensation for individuals whose properties were affected by the project, the minister assured that the government remains committed to fulfilling its obligations. He, however, noted that some structures affected by the project were not authorized by local authorities, making the issue of compensation more complex.
The laws of our country allows government to, through executive instruments and projects like this, to take over land or property for the good of the people. At the same time, the law says that the people must be paid adequate compensation. I know that there's an arrears on the compensation. We are working on that. But there are others that we need to take a second look at in terms of the compensation required and the benefit. True that we are yet to fully retire our commitment on some of the compensation.
The minister disclosed that the contractors have submitted a request for an extension of time due to delays caused by funding and utility relocation challenges. However, the government is yet to officially approve this request as it awaits a revised work schedule. Abuja reassured the public that the government remains focused on completing the Swami Interchange project and other critical infrastructure development across the country. He called for patience and cooperation from all stakeholders, emphasizing that despite the financial constraints, the project remains a priority.
Still in the Ashanti region, the Roads and Highways Minister, Gavin Kwame Agbodza, also assured the government will not renege on its pledge to complete ongoing projects despite the economic and financial difficulties the nation is faced with.
Expecting them to be working at the same pace as if nothing is wrong, but the fact that they were almost non-existent on the site, and today we can see some of the things the public were complaining about have been done. One of them is their inability to water the road to reduce the dust. Today we can see a lot of watering going on. We can see a lot more scarifying and reshaping and rolling going on, which means that at least the surface temporarily will be better than it is. That is what we are asking them to continue to do until a significant amount of payment is made to them. We are not saying that without money they can continue to work at the same pace, but as long as we are still yet to get to a point where we've gone beyond the 90 days period, I think they should continue to do their best to make sure that the public is comfortable with, at least the public is aware this is a construction site, so nobody is expected to drive at 60-70 kilometers through this place, but it should be reasonably motorable. So we take note of those things. The president is committed to continuing and completing every ongoing project, as long as the fiscal space and the financing of this project can be made available by the finance minister. We all listen to the outcome of the economic forum yesterday. We are not in a good place financially. Despite that, we are committed to completing projects like this because this is another priority project. So we encourage the contractors and the consultants to continue to work to make sure that in the interval, all these works continue. We don't want to leave this place and then the watering ceases in the afternoon. We want to see, because the public will get to know you have actually stopped, and then we are not going to be happy. We will report back to the president on what we have seen, and I know
Kumasi route, citing mainly financial constraint. Frustrated by the snail pace of work, the minister, who doubles as Member of Parliament for Adaklu, during a site visit, dismissed financial constraints as inadequate excuse and tasked the contractor to speed up works, insisting on urgent action to ease commuter woes.
I acknowledge that majority of road contractors in this country are having crisis of not being paid, because the volume of works that have been awarded without any sustainable source of funding is the issue. That is the bottom line. If we are dealing with over 100 billion cedis worth of projects on site, and in 2024, what was the budget line for capital investment on roads? It was just about 3 billion. Yet, I can guarantee you we awarded more than 3 billion cedis worth of work last year, from July to December last year alone. I agree every road is necessary. Every single road that is under contract is necessary. But you know the corridor you are working with is a very critical one, and we can just, before we even get to the end, encourage you that, please, that you slow down is not enough. You have to actually increase your activity on this corridor in good faith, because surely that certificate that we owe you will be paid.
All right.
And you are a Ghanaian contractor. You know, we advocate that the Ghanaian should be prioritized in terms of road projects. But if we do that, and then we don't see the effect of, because without mentioning any country, we work with some foreign contractors. Immediately the payment stops, they stop work. And we are taking a view of that one as well. You are a wholly Ghanaian company. We expect you to remain steadfast with our people and continue to see more activity on site.
Now let's revisit the recurring tidal wave situation in the Volta region, as hundreds of residents in Salakope, Amutinu and Agaveji in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region have been left homeless after powerful tidal waves swept through their communities. As families struggle to find shelter, concerns are mounting over the lack of immediate intervention and long-term solutions to that crisis.
This has become the daily routine of the residents of several affected communities in the Ketu South municipality. Once thriving coastal communities, Salakope, Amutinu, and Agaveji, now lie in ruins as devastating tidal waves have rendered hundreds homeless. The disaster has forced families to call for urgent government intervention. Opinions are divided on the best course of action.
Malaria 4 or 5 days today because of the spoiling of the seed. That's why we are all sleeping here. Our places, all our houses, all are destroyed by the sea. It's almost 4 or 5 days today. We have a family.
Some advocate for the continuation of the sea defense project, while others believe dredging the sea would offer a more lasting solution.
They should find some engineer to come and throw the sea sand to the outside of the land. There is no deep for the sea because it's a swallow place.
And our issue is, they said the government is coming to do some work for the sea inside. We are pleading to the government to come our aid because we are suffering too much. Yes, the suffering is going too much all the time. But this evening, around 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, it will start again.
No matter do chafoko, Amuala Gagaramwoman. You driver on me got the Mokoga Audo. I come walk or you don't want trouble. Aplau to cut a mimagatino.
Na Chafova Homo, if you have a nearby toilet, no, never me. I don't want to there. I'm gonna get 2 CDs.
Adding to their frustration is an abandoned housing project meant to provide 105 housing units for affected families. Years after its launch, only 11 structures have been partially built, with just 4 roofed but none completed for use.
The immediate left MC, that's Honorable Maxwell Lugudo, came to us in our community over here, Salakope, let us know that 105 rooms have to be built. That is the money being released to him. But as it stands now, only 3 is roof, not even complete for people to stay inside.
With no immediate relief in sight, affected residents are appealing to the government, NGOs, and humanitarian organizations for urgent assistance.
Now, following this unfortunate development, the Volta Regional Minister James GHOne has called for a state of emergency in the area. Let's engage the NADMO representative on the grounds, Pascal Agbagba. Good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon.
Now, Mr. Agbagba, what's the current state of residents in the Salakope, Amutinu, and Agaveji area?
Yeah, the current state of the people is that we have gotten a state pending for them. About 191 of them. And getting 2 state havens. One is the 2 block a KG block at the school, and another is the community center where they are putting up with. But most of the buildings along the coast have been washed away. In Agaveji alone, about 32 houses that have been washed away. So that is the situation of the people currently.
One of the issues the resident talked about, in our earlier report, was the lack of consistency and the fact that we know that this is recurring, yet no immediate intervention is there to support them.
As we said, there's no immediate intervention. It's so simplistic because there were a lot of interventions. Exactly what do you want to mean by there were no interventions? Can you go directly to what exactly?
Well, that is what the residents are saying, that there is no intervention to stop the recurring crisis, not immediately. But this has been happening for years. Every year, report tidal waves crisis.
Okay. Government has done some sea defense work up to the point where they are. It is hopeful that they are going to extend the sea defense wall. But this one is a capital intensive project. So what we did from 2022 was that we got a place for them to get relocated. But as you rightly indicated, Ghana Gas has awarded a project of 2 million Ghana cedis of a 15-unit, 2-bedroom apartment. That's how the people to be relocated. But unfortunately, the project stalled. The contractor left site. So immediately what we are doing is that we are talking to Ghana Gas to see either we can get a contractor back to site or terminate the contract and re-award for a new contractor to complete the project for the people to use. Apart from that, we are in a safe level for them. We have relocated them. We have gotten some form of relief items to them for the time being. On Friday, we are going back to their place. Tomorrow morning, we are organizing a health training for the people, immediately after which those who need the treatment will be given treatment. Then we have also organized a counseling services by getting the services of a clinical psychologist from the 2 artillery regiment in Hovio to help them tomorrow morning. So those are the things that we are doing in the country.
But in all of this, to what extent? Why are we unable to find a lasting solution to this?
We are not unable, but it's a process. It's not an event. So the president has mentioned it in the State of the Nation address. We are hopeful that in the few days to come, when they are reading the budget statement, it will be captured. Once it is captured, work will start in earnest.
Okay. Yeah. Pascal, thank you very much. We do appreciate your you speaking to us. That's Pascal Baba. He is the NADMO representative in the Ketu South municipality. Let's now head to the business world. Former Minister for Public Enterprises Joseph Kujo has refuted claims made by the Minister of Finance that most of Ghana's state-owned enterprises are operating at a loss. In a statement, he cited audited financial records from 2023, which he says show that 39 out of 53 SOEs recorded profits, while 5 others improved their performance by reducing losses. He criticized the Finance Minister's assertion as misleading, arguing that prior to 2017, many state-owned enterprises were not even preparing audited accounts, making financial oversight difficult. More on that in a moment. But first, let's listen to Finance Minister Dr. Kezia Latofo-Singh on the state of the state-owned enterprises.
Joint Ventures Company showing mounting operational and financial risk. Almost all state-owned enterprises are in the red. Almost all of them are in the red. From the Electricity Company of Ghana to the Agricultural Development Bank. Almost all of them are in the red. In fact, beginning from the year 2021 2022 and 2023. You will see that Cocoa Board posed some profit of 2.2 billion in the year 2023. But Your Excellency, this is artificial profit. This profit is because they failed to service their debt because of the debt suspension. And so all the cocoa bills that were due at the time, they failed to pay because of debt suspension. Subsequently, this debt still exists, and so we will need to take action to restructure most of the state-owned enterprises. Fiscal challenges and opportunity to support, and the need for us to talk about revenue now. We can't develop if we fail to generate resources internally.
Well, the former Minister for Public Enterprises, Joseph Kujo, has dismissed the Finance Minister's claim that a majority of Ghana's state-owned enterprises are running at a loss. We can show you some of his key points now. These are the pointers he stated. Number one, he says there are 53 SOEs, 39 reported profits in 2023 per their audited accounts. 5 improved in performance from 2022 to 2023 by reducing losses. He also says State's Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, an initiative by Kufuor's government, has been responsible for bringing all these 175 public investments into a sharp focus so that their performances can be constantly monitored. The Finance Minister should know that there is an ongoing program to bring the troublesome SOEs to profitability. These troublesome ones include the Tema Oil Refinery, Cocoa Board, Electricity Company of Ghana, Ghana Water Limited, Produce Buying Company Limited, and etc. Also, the current Finance Minister should stop peddling lies that most are in red, because it's rather few that are in red. Most rather prepared accounts, got them audited, and they reported profits in 2023. And finally, there has been constant performance improvements in these public enterprises since 2017, as opposed to the period before 2017. Still in business, former Deputy Trade Minister Michael Ochubefi says abolishing e-levy is impossible, despite earlier promises from the party, the NPP, during the 2024 elections. During speaking on GH today, he argued that Ghana's financial obligations under the IMF-supported program leaves little room for tax cut.
Know that at that time they were just doing politics. Because what is it bringing? Note that we are still in the IMF program. Note. So you cannot just stand up and say that I've cancelled this. You have to now create the money, look for the money. How then do you do for the money? So you now have to now bring more taxes and create more pain. Ghanaians, that's not the way to go. And so I believe that if they think they can abolish it, that's their own business. But we believe that it's not possible. Not possible. Because you have to create. So except you have another means of getting that money back, then it's possible. But if you don't have that space.
The Institute for Energy Security has projected relative stability in the price of refined petroleum products on the fuel market for the first half of March 2025. The second pricing window of February 2025 saw a general decline in petroleum product prices on the local fuel market following multiple increases in the year. According to the IES, this forecast is based on recent trends in both the international fuel market and the local foreign exchange market. In the last 2 weeks of February 2025, global fuel prices showed mixed movements. Diesel prices increased by 1.62%, while petrol and liquefied petroleum gas prices dropped by 1.73% and 2.11% respectively. Now, the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed that the Consumer Price Index for general goods and services between February 2024 and February 2025 was recorded at 23.1%, down by 0.4 percentage points from January 2025's rate of 23.5%. The government statistician, Professor Samuel Enim, explained that food inflation was notably higher than non-food inflation, with rates of 28.1% and 18.8% respectively, a gap of 9.3 percentage points. Regionally, the Upper West region experienced the highest inflation at 35.3%, while the Volta region had the lowest at 18.1%. He also noted that locally produced items registered an inflation rate of 25.1% compared to the 18.5% for imported items, reflecting a 6.68 percentage point difference.
7 items that we have in the basket, more than a quarter of it recorded rates of inflation higher than the 23.1% overall rate of inflation that was recorded in the month of February 2025. Yam recorded a significant price change on a year-on-year basis of 74.4%, and tomatoes recorded a significant price change of 42.2% for the month of February 2025. On a month-on-month basis, in addition to yam and fresh tomatoes, we identified 2 other items with significant weights that recorded significant price changes for the month of February 2025. This was petrol recording a price change of 4.4%, and tomato paste recording a price change of 6.3%. Both price changes, in addition to yam and fresh tomatoes, were higher than the overall month-on-month inflation of 1.3% that was recorded for the month of February 2025.
Let's now bring you the latest update in sports. And Monica Bukari, lady in yellow, yesterday in blue, today in yellow, is here with the latest update.
Yeah.
Monica, what's up in sports?
Now, Lily, our Black Queens will be embarking on another journey for trials, training ahead of their WAFCON tournament. You know, they were recently in Morocco. Now they are planning another camp for them in Senegal to prepare for the WAFCON in July.
We wish them all the best, though.
Certainly. So we'll bring you all the details after this breather. Do stay tuned. Now, sports communicator and marketing consultant Ebo Apia has condemned the poor state of pitches used for games in Ghana's top flight league. Speaking on the game here on GHOne TV, Ebo Apia emphasized that if proper club licensing standards were strictly enforced, none of the stadiums in Ghana would qualify.
As I said, do we really want the game? Do we want to grow the game? You know, I will always use the 1992 Constitution as our yardstick. As a people, we turned away from military rule, and ever since then, mobile phone became possible. Companies came in. Until we are ready to do the right thing, we will be going round and round and round and round. I'm sorry, but this is not how to run a proper league. And this is not to discredit the current administration or the previous administration. As a people, are we ready? Look at the airlines industry in Africa. Kenya and Ethiopia have decided, as far as we are concerned, we are going to do it properly. And so now Ethiopian Airlines and Kenya Airlines go about things. If we want to do it, there's a way to go about it. I don't think even the remaining of the stadium that has been closed even qualifies to play matches. That is why when Karaga made that statement, I don't understand people. Look at the kind of pitches we have in Africa.
Yeah.
Look at the kind of pitches we have. Look, even if we are playing in Ghana, it is by a miracle. I don't think if we go by proper club licensing or pitch licensing there, any of our stadiums should qualify. Give me one. Give me one stadium in this country that is qualified to host a Real Madrid game or just one. None. So I don't blame Madagascar. It's a licensing thing on the African continent, and the earlier we put in those infrastructures, the better it will be for the game to grow. Without it, the game cannot grow.
Now, away from that, the senior women's national team, the Black Queens, are set to embark on a 9-day training tour in Senegal as part of preparations for the upcoming Total Energies Women's African Cup of Nations, WAFCON. The training tour announced by the GFA will take place during the April FIFA window and will feature 2 international friendly matches against Senegal's Teranga Lionesses in Dakar. Now, Coach Kim Las Bucking Green side will face the Teranga Lionesses twice, with the matches scheduled to take place within a few days of each other. These training tours are part of the senior women's national team's build-up to the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, scheduled to take place in Morocco from July 5 to 26, 2025 this year. Now let's do some Champions League results, and Mikel Arteta's side Arsenal became the first team in Champions League goals away from home in the knockout stages of the competition as they were robbed to a 7-1 win over PSV Eindhoven. It was the most goals the Gunners have scored in a single game since beating Newcastle 7-3 in the Premier League 13 years ago. The emphatic win means that Arsenal can start planning for a trip to Madrid as they are set to take on the winner of the tie between Real Atletico. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta said the win had given his players joy and confidence and belief that was not getting carried away when questions were put to him about
against Juventus was really impressive. So the manner that we've done it, the way we played, the goals that we scored, thank you, because it was a special night. It's obviously gives us a lot of joy and confidence and belief, and then in football is not what we did 3 days ago or 2 days. It's going to be what we do tomorrow when we go to Old Trafford, how we behave, how we play, and are we able to win a game, and that's it. Enjoy tonight because it was a very impressive performance and an unbelievable score. So we deserve that, and now take it and keep improving as a team.
Now let's get to Europe, Spain, where Real Madrid's Brahim Diaz scored a second half winner as the host edged out neighbours Atletico Madrid 2-1 in a scrappy first leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie on Tuesday night after Julian Alvarez had cancelled out Rodrigo's opener. The host started on fire when Rodrigo scored a fine opener 4 minutes after kickoff, but Atletico slowly got into the game and Alvarez scored or equalized with a stunning strike in the 32nd minute. Real Madrid got the winner in the 55th minute through Brahim, who worked his magic to find a space inside the crowd box and slotted a low-angle strike inside Jan Oblak's far post. Brahim Diaz's goal gave Real Madrid the edge in a hard-fought clash with Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid, who dominated proceedings for large stretches of the match and could easily have finished with a better result if they had made the most of their chances. Let's now take a listen to both managers' reactions after the game.
No, they all made a difference. Rodrigo and Brahim were the best of them all, really. They gave a great contribution to tonight's game, but they all played well, really. It was our idea to put a lot of pressure on our opponents, and that's something you can only do when you're playing in a tidy manner, when you're properly set up on the pitch, and thanks to that, they didn't have a lot of chances tonight. Well, ever since the start of the game, we'd been playing with Julian on the right flank, Llorente in the middle, supporting the attackers, and my plan was to attack from the right flank, switching to the left whenever we could. That was my strategy for the game. That's what we tried for this game, and that's what we did. Towards the end of the game, I sent another defender onto the pitch to do what Llorente and Molina had been doing before. That was Robin, because I thought Robin could come in handy. And we had Zozlot, Julian and Correa up front trying to score a goal for us because we were trying, to get the equaliser. But we truly had no clear chances at a goal, although we were sort of in control of the game, and we were about actually to concede a third goal during a counter-attack.
Let's do some more sports at 1 p.m. on the game here on GHOne TV and Star FM. My name is Monica Bukari. Back to you, Lily Mohammed. It's always the new mentioning for me.
I know. Thank you very much, Mrs. Bukari. Let's not head to the entertainment zone, shall we? Now, how well Ghanaians truly know their own tradition. Ghana is home to a variety of ethnic groups, each with its unique culture, customs, and festivals. Now, while festivals like Hogbechuchu and Akweside may be widely recognized, there's one festival that not a lot of Ghanaians are familiar with. That's the Bugum Festival. What do you know about the Bugum Festival and the people who celebrate it? Let's find out.
People do celebrate Fire Festival.
Fire Festival, that is Anglo. Oh, that should be Angloga, that is Angloga. Fire Festival, Angloga, yeah.
Wow, that's new. Yeah.
Now, in your 1 hour, the Fire Festival.
Minimum. William fans of
Which people celebrate Bugumo Fire Festival?
Bugumo Fire Festival. Well, it's taking me back to my JHS yeah. Even a while, yeah. Sorry.
Which people celebrate Fire Festival?
Please, I have no idea. Is it the north? Somewhere in the north. I don't know the exact tribe.
Tell me, which people celebrate Fire Festival?
I don't really know, but I think upper there. You didn't know? Yeah.
I know it's from the north, but I don't know the exact.
Is the Dangomba people?
Which people celebrate Fire Festival?
Naga.
Anyway, just so you know, it is celebrated. It was one of the very first festivals celebrated by the people of Dagbon. So that's by way of information. But how Ghanaian are you? We'll be doing a series of this during this Ghana month. Still in the entertainment zone, Black Avenue Music has officially signed a new artist, Paul Known, following the exit of Sifa from the label. An exclusive album listening session at the EIB network premises. Key industry players such as the CEO of the EIB network, Bola Ray, General Manager of GHOne TV, Nanaya Sapong, as well as several prominent radio and TV personalities were in attendance.
Among the creative masterpieces of newly signed act of Black Avenue Music, Paul Noun, Amen stood out as guests in a listening party cheered harder compared to the other pieces. Speaking at the event, CEO of EIB Network, Bola Ray, emphasized the importance of scouting and nurturing fresh talent in the industry.
It is not every time that you get talents like this. And once we are able to support them, we need to celebrate them. And I'm happy that Black Avenue spotted you and they are taking